Hello, everyone, and hi, everyone. Yes, so I'm going to be sharing my slides. I did a couple of slides just to be able to get the conversation going, but I'll just ask everyone can you pop something in the chat that you think social media would be able to help with as regards to your career growth? I believe that this topic itself is not new to many of us. I'll be going hopefully systematically. I'm not sure if it really is systematically, but you pop something in the chat just to make sure that we're also engaged on this. How can social media help your growth? Pop one word into the chat that you believe social media can help with in terms of career growth. Yeah, and so in terms of my session today, what I will be focusing on is just helping us to see from hopefully a couple of real world examples, and also to see how social media have helped people across different genre. We'll drill down into the tech industry, and then we'll be discussing a little bit more around what we should be doing as individuals, as individual techie, whether you are just starting in the field of tech, whether you've been in tech for a while, or you're an expert in the field of tech. Whichever category you do fall, there are things that we should be doing, and there are things that you may want to start practicing. We'll focus on social media from two parts. One of them is the things you should get out of social media, and also the things that you should be putting out into the social media space itself. Many of us are aware that in terms of the field of technology, what started was Web 1.0, which was just simply people putting content out there, and nobody could actually do any interaction with those contents. And then we were in the period of Web 2.0, which is the era of social media where there are discussions going on. You can talk about things, and then people can respond to you. You can make comments on websites and many of those things. And that's generally the period we are in. And then, of course, there's this new old world of Web 3 and then Web 3.0. Those are two different things. If you didn't know that, go and Google it. There's actually a difference between Web 3 and Web 3.0, two different things. But that's not the era, that's not the conversation for today. Also, could you pop in the chat to just make sure, let me know if you can see my screen. And if you can see my screen, please pop that in the chat as well. I was trying to see the charts, but for some reason I'm not. Okay, there you go. So networking, social credibility. I'm seeing a couple of items in the chart: socialization, portfolio, credibility, again, evidence of some of the work you've done, and so on. Fantastic. So, I mean, many of us are already familiar with this. A lot of different social media platforms exist today, and many more will be existing in the future. There are several logos on the screen. Could you please pop in the chat a few of them that you are familiar with? Many of us are familiar with, I believe that's WhatsApp, there's Facebook, there's YouTube. The ones I've not mentioned that I want you to tell me what social media platform that is. There's Twitter already on the screen, there's Telegram, that's TikTok, there's Skype, there's Google Plus, which is defunct now, so it doesn't exist anymore. If I mention any of those, please don't pop in the chat, but there are a couple of other logos up there. And each one of these platforms are their own social media platforms in the manner of speaking. Each one of them have their rules. Each one of them have the way in which you can work on them. Each one of them have their policies in terms of the kinds of things that you can say on them. Some of those platforms would allow something like nudity, for example, whereas some of these platforms does not. Some of these platforms will allow you to have multiple accounts. Some of them do not. So LinkedIn, for example, one of the grounds in which you can get banned on LinkedIn is if you're maintaining multiple account. Apparently it's against their terms and conditions on LinkedIn. And there are different ones of this social media platform. Hopefully we have some of the names on the chat, and each one of these platforms have the different rules. So I see Concord, I see WeChat, I see Behance on the list, I see Dribble on the list. Fantastic. And so we're familiar with this. There's a new one, BeReal. I'm not sure how many of us are familiar with BeReal. It's a new social media platform, and pretty much what that platform does is that a lot of people, what we do is that we paint our faces, we plan our pictures before we post it on Instagram and many of these platforms. Well, what Be Real does is that it will just give you a 2-minute interval during the day where you can post. And so you need to literally use your camera to just show exactly what you are doing at that moment in time. That's Be Real. It's also a logo on the screen. TikTok, famously, we heard that a lot of people are supposed to be dancing on TikTok. I put my first video on TikTok, and then a lot of people yapped me that what kind of noise did you just post on TikTok? And I've not put anything else on TikTok since then, because I mean the energy needed to maintain a TikTok account, I'm not sure I do have that kind of energy. But my point is that there are several of these platforms that exist. Many of these platforms, many of us are on the platform. The question is that, are you able to get value towards your tech career based on these platforms? And the truth is that all over the media, we know of people in this generation that have grown and achieved exponential growth because of social media. Right? I'll put a couple of artists on the screen, and I'm hoping that you can also drop in the chat some other people that you are aware of that actually they got their limelight, their moment of fame, and so on. They got it because of their social media, maybe YouTube, maybe Twitter, whatever it is. Please drop it in the chat as well. I'm sure that many of us on the call were familiar with one person or the other in different industries that you know about today, not because they were on the traditional media, not because they were on the radio, not because they were on TV, not because they were on newspaper, but because they were on one social media or the other, and they achieved significant growth on that. Could you please put in the chat as well? But I'll talk about these two. I don't know the full story, but yeah, Justin Bieber was making music, putting it on his YouTube, I believe, and then that's where they found him. That's where his music record found him, and then that's where his fame grew. KSI, I understand that is supposedly popular. So sorry, I don't really know them that well. Apologies, I'm probably showing my age. But yes, KSI as well, I understand that he also grew from posting YouTube videos, showing his music skills specifically in this case, and that is what he was able to use as a springboard to expand in his career. I'm hoping that we'll have more examples. Right? I'm saying example KB Lane. I'm not sure what that pronunciation is. Yeah, I see one example. Ikorodu Boys, yes, Ikorodu Boys got even significant equipment and so on. I mean, I'm seeing Mayokun, I'm seeing Rema, and I'm seeing, yeah, so I've seen a bunch of examples. Please keep them coming, keep those examples coming. But these are different people that have leveraged this same tool to be able to grow their career. But then let's drill down to tech. I'm sure that many of us are familiar with tech influencers, and there are several of them at the moment, some of them with more fame and more following than others. But these are some tech influencers that I'm hoping some of you recognize their faces because we are actually following them. And they give advice, they give insights based on their experience. Some of the insights they give are not even correct, but the point is that they are able to share things that they know. And because they share things that they know, people follow them that want to know those things that they know as well. So you can also drop in the chat. If you know of tech influencers, you can drop their handles in the chat because some people may not be following tech influencers at the moment. And that's something, if you can take out of this, is that rather than only following comedians, only following specific types of people, you can also follow people in your niche, right? Because many of us have a problem with the social media algorithm, because the social media algorithm sort of influences the things that you see. But the truth is those algorithms can actually be trained. A lot of the social media algorithm, you can say, I want to see less of this and I want to see more of this type of content. It is very difficult because the day you go and watch a different type of content, all of a sudden, all you'll be seeing is that same different type of content. And it's a problem that I hope I'm still looking for a way to solve, even for my own personal life. But the point is that be conscious around the things that you are following and spending time on, because at this stage, for many of us, we are trying to grow in our career. We are trying to go from one level to the other. And there are people ahead of us. There are people that have information. There are people that are able to help. And those people are people that you should probably be following. And so please drop in the chat as well if you know of a tech influencer that you think everybody else on this call should be aware of. Please drop in the chat. I volunteer, I slim fit, which is Adewale, who is on the call right now. He is a tech influencer in not just Nigeria, really, globally at this point. But yeah, he is a tech influencer as well. But there are a few other people whose name are on this chat. I just simply did a search and then I saw a bunch of people who are on that list. I'm not familiar with every single one of them, but Miss Techie, for example, she has very interesting content that she uses to educate people around the field of technology. Fisayo as well. I have seen a couple of his content, and there are a lot of different people. My point here is that there's this world that does exist as well of people putting out tech content, some in specific niche, some in product management niche, some in PHP niche, some in and all of that. But then the question is that, are you actually following those content? Are you consuming that specific content as well? That then brings me to career exposure by social media. And then the question is that aside from you consuming content, you have to also put content out there. We've gotten to a situation in this generation that the truth is people are watching you. You may think that, oh, there's nobody watching me, nobody really cares about me at this point because I'm just a beginner in the field. But the truth is that the day they find you, they will go and look at what you've done in the last 1 year, in the last 2 years, whether it is for visa application or whether it is for job application or whether it is even in some cases, I'm hearing schools now, particularly masters and all of that, they are looking at what is it that you are putting out there. And if you say you're not putting anything out there, that is a negative indicator. So understand it. You can say, okay, fine, I'm not even going to be on social media. I'm going to just be quiet and all. But the truth is that in this generation at the moment where we are, it is also a negative indicator. So you don't even have a choice. You really want to start selling yourself. And this is the reason why it is harder and harder to live a double life. It is harder and harder to say, okay, fine, in one life, I'm going to be X, and then in another life, I'm going to be Y. It is harder and harder because by the time they search for you, except you want to be using different names and different versions of your name. And that brings me to the question of names as well. Try and particularly if you have names that are not unique, right? So I have friends, I have like 4 different friends, and I know like 4 other people whose names are Shola Ajayi, right? And so here's the problem. If I Google Shola Ajayi, which one of the Shola Ajayis am I finding? And so in that case, you may want to add your middle name and all of that, because you should have an online brand, an online persona that people can find you easily and find who you are easily. That's one of the tips that you should also think about, particularly if you have names that is very common and you know that many other people are bearing your exact name as well. People Google you, right? And the question I will have for you is that, have you even Googled yourself? What is it that is showing when you Google yourself today? But then don't care so much about that. The question is that, what will show about you when you Google yourself in a year's time? That is more important. What are the things that you are consciously putting out there today that people will see in a year's time, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time? They say in the internet never forgets. You need to be strategic. But then the question you may ask is that, who is looking? Who is looking for me? Who cares? I'll tell you about 5, and I'm sure there may be other examples and categories, but these are 5 that you should be conscious about. The first one is the HR and technical recruiters of organization. If technical recruiters are not contacting you, if you've never gotten a contact from a technical recruiter, either most likely on your LinkedIn, but sometimes it happens in other channels as well. If you've been in the field of tech for more than 1 year and no technical recruiter has contacted you, there is a problem and you need to solve that problem. And I'm speaking in 2022. It wasn't like this in 20 2016, but I'm speaking 2022. Zero technical recruiter has contacted you and you've been in tech for more than 1 year. You have a problem and you need to fix that problem. You need to look at your online persona. You need to look at what it is that you are signaling, and then you need to see how you can fix it. Because there is the problem. Globally, there's a lack and there's a scarcity of technical talent. It's a global problem. We can dissect it across different regions. We can dissect how that problem is showing up in different regions, because one region's issue is slightly different from a different region, but there's a global scarcity. And so that's the reason why, and there's an industry of people called technical recruiters. It's an entire industry. It's a career path now. Maybe 20 years ago, that career path did not exist. But today, it is a career path. You can actually say, the work I want to do in my life is I want to be a technical recruiter. If you didn't know that, go and Google it. The point I'm making is that these technical recruiters are looking for the right talent to fill the right roles in organization. And so they are looking for you. They are looking for your skill, whether it's at the beginner level, intermediate level, and advanced level. Yes, the intermediate and the advanced level is actually where the scarcity is a lot. Right? So there are lots of junior developers without the right experience, without the right exposure, without the right skill. But then by the time you get to a certain level, you will start seeing that scarcity is showing much more. And so technical recruiters are looking. They are looking for you. They are looking for your talent. Regardless of what it is, you can say you're a product manager, you're a scrum master, you're a PHP developer, you're a digital marketer, you're a DevOps person, you're a cloud infrastructure, whatever it is. If you're in tech, they are probably looking for you. Then entrepreneurs and startup founders as well, they are looking for you. The interesting thing about this particular category is that the reason why the startup founder will be looking himself and won't be able to hire a technical recruiter is one of two things. The first one is that, they are looking for a specific kind of talent and they find you because you floated up, right, into their visibility. So they are funding, they're able to pay and all of that. But then there's another category of people that, they are not able to afford, in quotes, your fee or the industry rate. And so what they are looking for is people that are able to volunteer their skill. And please do not don't say, these people are just looking for cheap labor, or these people are not, what's the name? At a certain level in your career, what you should be looking at doing is building a portfolio. And so you may want to be able to volunteer your time for such a person, because that may also help. But my point is that how would they find you? They can only find you because of the type of work you put out there. Because if you're a graphics designer, for example, and they are looking for you, what they will do is they will simply go and look at your portfolio. If they see, okay, this person has been around for a couple of years, the work wasn't very nice, I can see more improvement, I can see improvement, now this person has gotten to a certain stage, or this person is still at maybe level 1, right, but I think that I can mentor this person to get to level 4 of 10, right? They may also be interested. So that's something else. Conference organizers are also looking. They are looking for people that can share talents, that can share information, and so on. Where would they find you? It's usually also by simply Googling and looking for tech managers. People are running teams, and because they are running teams, they are looking for specific skills in their team. And so I'm CTO for a bunch of organizations, Social Lender being the most visible one of them, but I'm CTO for many organizations. And for many of those organizations, we are always looking for specific talent. And so if I find someone that I think will be a fantastic fit, I can approach that person. But how do I find that person? Also, a lot of times nowadays through social media. Now, understand what I'm saying. There is the fact that, yes, if you are looking for a role, you can apply to many, and then you can hope that one of them will call you, and you need to have the right portfolio at the point when you go through the recruitment process and all of that. But I'm also saying to you that many people have found jobs because they were just simply talking to somebody. And Wale gave an example earlier during his presentation as well. They were simply talking to someone, and the person is like, we need this specific skill. We need this specific person in our ecosystem immediately. The last one is techies themselves are looking for talents. They are looking for people like you. Many organizations today, they give a referral bonus for recruitment. I'll say it again. Many organizations, particularly the larger organization, they give referral bonus for recruitment. to say that if you refer somebody to us as an organization, right, you can get paid maybe $1,000, maybe $500, and all of that. You get paid as part of what's in it, because they found out that, oh, if we get our current staff to refer other people to us as an organization, it is cheaper than hiring a technical recruiter who will charge 10%, 15%, 20% of the annual income of the person. That's the typical market rate today to also land that same role. So it is cheaper. So sometimes techies can find you to say, oh, and we have this vacancy, oh, they were looking for a PHP developer in our organization with this your exact skill. And so these are some categories of people that are currently looking for you. And so the point is that, are you making use of these tools, social media specifically? We talked about multiple platforms. Are you making use of these tools to your advantage? There are platforms you should not ignore. LinkedIn, please don't ignore LinkedIn. Today, a different platform may come out tomorrow, but as of today that I'm speaking to you, I feel like LinkedIn is the place you should be, particularly if you are building your career. Put some of your content out there as much as you can, update your profile as much as you can, make sure that you are searchable as much as you can. For developers, don't ignore GitHub, don't ignore Stack Overflow. For many techies, don't ignore Stack Exchange. Stack Overflow is a subdivision of Stack Exchange, don't ignore that. For graphics designer, for UI UX, don't ignore Behance. And there are several other communities out there that are niche to specific career tracks. My point is that, are you even aware of what those what that niche is and what that career track will be? I see that I'm running out of time, and I thought I didn't have a lot to say, but now I'm saying a lot. But yeah, our social media can help. Learn skills, gaining experience and gaining exposure. So this is a model that we sort of use within Bincom Dev Center. It's a model that we built over the years, and it's a model that we use around building and training techies. You heard about the Bincom Global Tech Program as an example of a program that Bincom does. And I'll just share a little bit about that, but give me a second, I'll be right back.
While we are waiting for Mr. Badi.
Yeah, I'm back now. Apologies for that. Learning skill, gaining experience, gaining exposure. Those are the different it's three pillars that we focus. So I'll just speak a bit about each one of these and then we'll round up hopefully with a lot of questions. So learning skills, you can use that. And I spoke about that a bit to say that a lot of people are putting content out there. There are a lot of things I didn't know about even my phone. Right? And then I see a video float up and then somebody says, oh, did you know that you can download videos from statuses, for example, and you can do it by doing X, Y, Z. And then I'm like, hey, oh, is that true? And then I go and check, blah, blah, blah. And then I find out that, oh, okay, it is true. And then I use that, what's the name? In some cases, they will say, oh, these are some tools that you can use today. And then I've been using a different type of tool for the same thing, probably even paying for that tool, not realizing that, oh, there's a free tool out there that can do the same thing. Many years ago, I didn't know about Canva, and I only stumbled on Canva because I found it on social media, for example. If you didn't know anything about Canva today, then you are wrong as well. You should know, because generally speaking, before now, graphics design was something you needed to pay somebody for, but then tools like Canva has made it almost free. Yeah. Then gaining experience is also something you should be doing. And in terms of gaining experience, the way I see it is that you can use social media to project the experience that you have today. And I advise people, particularly techies that I mentor, to say that don't discount even your 1 month of experience in the field of tech. You can start talking about it to say, oh, today I found out that Scrum is something. Or today I found out that Agile is this. You can talk about those things. Don't disparage your little beginnings, because what happens is that when people look at you in a year, in 2 years, what they look at is the sum of your track record. They are not just going to look at, oh, this person is a flash in the pan. They are going to look at that sum of the track record. And so you can start talking about some of those things. Oh, see my first demo projects. Oh, this is the very first mobile app I've ever done. And then when we see that, oh, this was 6 months ago, what people then realize is that, okay, 6 months later, this person must have grown more, particularly in this field. So don't put out some of the things that you've done, put out your work. Let people critique it. Let them say that, oh, you don't even know anything. We run Bincom Tech Club and somebody put out their work and somebody came to criticize this to say, oh, this person, you didn't do anything at all. What kind of nonsense did you put out? Go and learn more and all of that. And a lot of people came to support the guy to say, this is his little beginning. You yourself that you're talking, put out what it is that you've done and all of that. My point being that use it for those experience and then exposure. I've spoken a lot about exposure anyway at this point. I've spoken about examples of people finding fame. I've spoken about examples of people finding jobs. And I've spoken about the fact that a lot of people are looking for your skill. You want to ensure that you are strategic to ensure you are where you can be found. I won't go through this. There's a link at the bottom of my slide. You can use that to find it. The only one I'll mention is be consistent. Wally mentioned it as well. Be consistent. Be on brand. Don't be the one that today you are here, tomorrow you are here, and then you are just scattered all over the map. Be consistent to say, oh, this is the thing that we know this person for. Be consistent. And the final one I'll just mention is be strategic. The tool is out there. It is available. You can use it for good. You can use it for evil. You can use it for your benefit, or you can use it, for not your benefit. You just waste your time. It is up to you. Be strategic on, okay, what is it that I'm doing? If I continue doing this, what can it help me do? If I don't do this, what can it help me do? How can I grow? Be strategic around your use of this tool. Social media is a tool that can help grow your career, and social media is a tool that can waste your time as well. It is up to you to decide which path you want to take. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. I'm sure a lot of us have gained a lot from the two speakers. Because from my end, I know I have gotten a lot already now. I have known how to use social media in a different light. So now this is the time we have for questions and answer, where the two speakers would take our questions and dissect it and give us an answer back. So if you have questions for the speaker, your questions are welcome now. So please, you can raise your hand so that you'll be called. So please, if you have questions, please ask your question. This is the time to ask questions. I'm sure we should have a lot of questions to ask. All right. Okay, Mohammed, you can go on. You can speak. Unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. So my question actually goes to Mr. Apadi, and regarding some of the tips he mentioned about being on social media. One was being consistent and strategic. So in a situation where somebody is just starting out with social media, where you are trying to push out your skill or just basically yourself, and for example, like platforms like LinkedIn, where it's sort of saturated, and for some sort of beginner that has this imposter syndrome as to probably not good enough, I'm just starting out. And we all know the trend on LinkedIn, for example, where you see people are all about the wins and the achievement all the time. So how does somebody be consistent with that sort of thinking?
Yeah, I'll say two things, and then I'm sure Wale will have a couple of things to share as well. Number one is that don't forget that on social media, a lot of people put out the things they want you to see. Sometimes even some of the wins that you see on social media is also packaging. So you need to package yourself. Start from little beginnings. Trickles and trickles and trickles is what then becomes like a flood. I can't remember that saying in itself, but start from somewhere, right? Don't try and conquer the world. Why don't you try and conquer just the next 3 people? Start from there, and then gradually you will grow. The point is that a lot of times what happens is that people will just find you, right? A lot of times they say overnight success, but some of those overnight successes, it took 10 years, it took 1 year, it took months before they became overnight successes. And then you know what happens when the person becomes an overnight success? People go back to your history. You now start finding out that things that you posted many, whatever, then people are now engaging with it and stuff like that. So I think you should just start, right? Imposter syndrome, a lot of people have it. Don't let me say everybody, but a lot of people have it. But just realize that you do have something to give and start from there. Share what it is that you already know. Don't be afraid that some people will critique you. Even bad criticism itself is a good thing, because you either learn from it and grow from it, or alternatively is that you can also educate the person as well. I'll hand over to Wale. Go.
Okay, yeah. Let me just add like 3 points to that. So first, let me correct that impression, that notion of LinkedIn is saturated. No, I don't think so. I don't believe any social media space is saturated. Somebody mentioned Kabilim earlier. Before Kabilim, we've had so many people that have used social media to help their career. And Kabilim started in the midst of the pandemic, right? And that was when people even never gave social media a chance. But then look at Kabilim, look at what he's done for himself. There's no brand in this world that don't want to associate with him, right? And his followers are growing on all platforms. And it won't stop. It will definitely won't stop at Kabilim, right? Somebody can look at Kabilim or look at the entire social media space and say, man, this space is saturated. Everybody's doing this. But I mean, if I come in today, right, what will be different about me? But then again, if you look at it in that manner, then you won't be able to do anything. You won't add value. You won't conquer your fears, right? Still do it, regardless if you think it's saturated or not. Still do it. Start with an objective, be strategic, and then look at how you can do things differently, or just pick a particular niche. This is what I want to be talking about today. Or if it's, I don't know what field you are in, if it's UI, UX, or if it's DevOps or whatever, just pick a particular topic for each week, or have a calendar every week. I want to post about this particular topic on LinkedIn. That's what I want to be doing, right? Then talking about profile optimization, you can say you don't want to post, right? You just want to optimize your LinkedIn profile so that you are searchable, so that when recruiters look out for people in that particular field, your name pops up. That is a strategy on it. So you can say, I don't want to post, I don't want to sell my posting, I just want to optimize my profile and then comment on people's relevant posts in my network, right? So take, for instance, pick about 3 or 4 industry leaders in your particular niche or your particular career, and say for every week, for every post a week, I want to put relevant comment, not just comment for the sake of commenting. I want to add my own knowledge to their post. And then thereby you're also getting visibility, which is also a strategy. At every time you post, people are noticing you. The relevant people are noticing you in that field, in that career path, that, oh, this person is always adding good takes on this thing. There's a particular guy that does this on Twitter, often that is a nuisance. He drops hot takes on every post, every viral post. Whether it makes sense, most times it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Or whatever, what you call it.
Yeah.
Right. So that can be a strategy on its own. He doesn't post. What he does is to go to under every post and comment. And I went viral for that. So don't say LinkedIn is oversaturated. Build your own strategy, optimize your profile. The sky is
Mohammed, okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Before I come to Ganiat, there's a question in the chat box. It says, is there a thing like flooding your timeline with your work? Is this good or is it all bad? That's to the 2 speakers. Yeah. So Olivia asked that question. Is there anything like flooding your timeline with your work? And if there is,
okay, let me take that. I don't think there's anything like that. So that is why timetable or content scheduling, content timetable is very important. So even though sometimes posting or our thoughts can be spontaneous, there's something you can easily quickly think of, let me post this thing. You still need like a content calendar, right? So for every week or 2 times a week. So take each of these platforms. Twitter, I want to post on Twitter 3 times a week. LinkedIn, I want to post once in a week or twice in a week. And what do you want to post? Don't just post because you want to post, right? Let it align with your goals of joining these platforms. Is your goal to sell yourself? Is your goal to connect with more people? Is your goal to tweet about your project or tweet about something you're working on? So I don't think there's anything like that. As long as you have a content calendar that aligns with your goal, I don't think you're spamming, right? Just ensure that, so LinkedIn, for instance, you don't want to post every hour, of course. It's not Twitter where, I mean, for every platform, they have their own conversation strategy, conversation style. Twitter is like a micro-blogging platform where you just tweet your thoughts, converse every minute, every second. People do that on Twitter. But LinkedIn, for instance, you can't be doing that you can't be posting every second or every minute on LinkedIn, except take, for instance, you want to be commenting on different posts, right? And I don't think there is a certain level of number of posts you can do on LinkedIn every day in terms of comments, so your account is not limited or it's not blocked. So just use your content calendar to look out for relevant comments you need to drop, not just dropping comments for the sake of dropping comments.
All right. Thank you. I don't know if Mr. Badi has anything to add.
Yeah, I'll just add to that to say also be strategic. So there are some people whose goal is, oh, I want to grow. I want to have 10,000 followings and all of that. Some people's goal may be simply, I want to put out the things that I'm doing out there. I'm not so concerned about, oh, I want hundreds or thousands of people to follow me and all of that. I mean, growth is always good, don't get me wrong. But my point is that also be strategic. You want to add value. That's what you should focus on. So yes, post your work, share that as often as allowed, as possible, as often as your strategy allows, but be more focused around you adding value in terms of whatever it is that you're posting. So even if it's one person that sees it, that one person may actually be the pathway to destiny. You don't need 100,000 people to see it. I mean, the more people that see it, the better. But the point is that if somebody then looks for you, right? For example, I mentioned technical recruiters. They search you out, they find you. What they then find is, oh, this person has been doing stuff in product management. I know the person that answered the question, which is why I'm using that example. This person has been doing stuff in product management. These are some of the person's work. This person must be an expert in that field. It helps even with interview. You probably won't need the first interview when they want to establish your expertise. What they just want to establish at that point will be culture fit. And maybe will this person fit in? Can we even afford this person? Those are the kinds of conversation you'll be having.
All right, thank you. I hope that answers Olivia's question. All right. Ganiat, you can go ahead and ask your question. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. So my question is that what if you are in like two different fields? For example, I'm a sustainable fashion enthusiast and I'm a front-end developer. So I find it difficult to post sometimes because some people put the tag of, oh, she's a sustainable fashion enthusiast on me, while some put the tag of a front-end developer. So it's really difficult sometimes to know, okay, should I post this? Or should I not post this? So it's difficult. So what would you advise in that case?
Wale is the expert here. So.
Okay, so I guess you're talking about striking a balance between those two personalities that's been attributed to you. I mean, that's a good problem to have be asking. So let me take myself, for instance. I tell people I wear various hats, right? And because one, I do stuff for brands while I still have my 9 to 5. And apart from that, I have like a vlog, a YouTube platform where I interview people in tech. So put all of this together. Would you then, I mean, comparing with what you said. So if someone asks me, so out of all these three things that you mentioned, which one should you post? So that takes me back to my content calendar because I want to, as much as possible, be visible in those three aspects, in those three areas. I mean, it is you, it's your personality. You can't deny it. You can't hide from who you are. So it's those two attributes that are relevant to your personality. Post as many times as you can on those two personalities that you just mentioned. Just try as much as possible to have a calendar, a consistent calendar. So take, for instance, for this week, I want to post about fashion 2 times this week. then I want to post about the technology aspect, right? 3 times in a week. You can, yeah, it's good to have a bias. I mean, it's good to have a bias. You can say, okay, I want to prioritize this over this. Can be your passion, whatever. You can do that like 3 times in a week and give less priority to the other one 2 times in a week. But as much as you're doing that, just try to like strike a balance, and so that you're not people aren't sort of not seeing what you're doing, right? And saying, oh, this is the only thing she does and all of that.
Yeah, I'll just add that you could also think of a strategy around maybe split the things you do into 2 different accounts, right? That's also a possibility. So for example, Instagram allows multiple pages. So maybe your brand page, you can have a brand page for your fashion, what's the name? And then you have a personal page for your tech stuff. And then of course you can also push your fashion stuff from time to time to say, oh, did you guys know I also do fashion? You can find me also on this channel where I talk about fashion and stuff like that. Same thing with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more professional. It's unlikely that people that are looking for fashion will be on LinkedIn. I don't know if that is correct, but from my knowledge as of today, right? So you probably want to focus your LinkedIn on your tech skill, right? Then your Twitter can be a mix of both. You may also want to have some sort of landing page to say about me. Oh, I'm a fashion something that does this and does this and does this and does this as well. If you want to find out about me from this light, go here. If you want to find out about me from this light, go here. That kind of thing. So that may be a strategy to use as well. I don't know if it's helpful.
Daniel, I hope that answer your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Badia and Mr. Adewale.
All right, thank you. Olaoluwa, you can go ahead and ask a question.
So I the only one I have, Mr. Badia already answered the question.
All right, no problem. Mohammed, I see your hand up.
Yeah, okay. So I think my question is sort of in contrast with what Ghania had asked. So in a situation where you're a tech person and you're quite acquainted with different stacks, for example. So I don't know, I usually see it on LinkedIn where people would say, oh, I do JavaScript, I do HTML, I do Python, and they just have everything lined up on their bios. Like, I don't know, is that a good practice, or how do we? I sometimes get scared. Oh, what am I doing?
So, can I take that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So as long as you are not jack of all trade, master of none, it won't be a problem. The problem would be if you are jack of all trade and then we try and establish what is your expertise and you are not an expert in any one of those, then that would be a major problem, right? One of my idiosyncrasy that also translates into Bincom is that you should know something about everything and everything about something. I'll say it again. You should know something about everything and everything about something, right? And so you can project to say, oh, I've done something in X, I've done something in Y, but in terms of my expertise, or in terms of if you wake me up in the middle of the night, my expertise is I'm a Python data scientist or I'm a R data scientist. That's my expertise. But then I've also done X, I've also done Y, and so on. It's very difficult to build expertise in like 3 different places at the same time. Right? Very difficult. But then I grew from a point where that's my own personal career. I grew from a point where I started as a not developer as you know developers today, developers in HTML and JavaScript and CSS and stuff like that. I did a bit of VB6 at some point. I did ActionScript at some point. I did PHP at some point. I've done C++ at some point. So I've done a bunch of other things, but all of that now incorporates into what I do now, which is more technology leadership, right? And for you to be a technology lead, CTO and stuff like that, you need to know something about everything. And so I don't know if that was helpful.
Yeah, let me add to that. Also, technology platforms, right, keeps evolving, and the same thing with programming languages. Right, so you want to, as a software developer or in whatever field, you want to ensure that you are keeping up with all of these advances in technology, right? You don't just want to be stuck with the old programming languages, right? You don't want to be stuck with SQL. You don't want to be stuck with JavaScript and C++ and all of that stuff. I mean, keep updating your knowledge, right? In terms of putting everything in your profile, I will advise just put the relevant and most recent ones as much as you can. Take, for instance, SQL is outdated. It's, well, not really outdated, but it's not as relevant as the newer ones you have, right? So you can take all the old ones off and then just put the most recent knowledge of the platforms you have.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I hope from the chat box, I saw Mr. Elijah said he has a question. Mr. Elijah is still on the call. So if you have a question, you can ask your question. If not, okay. So I would just like to ask, based on the question or topic of today, one of the questions that I have prepared was that which social media channel are the most effective and why? Like the ones the speakers have used, which one do you think is like more effective and why do you like, okay, this one I like more effective out of most of the social media platforms we have? So yeah, Mr. Diwali, Mr. Badi. Yeah.
Oh, is that a question to us?
Yes.
So we're talking. I thought you were asking the audience. So talking about the most, so I would say it depends on your goal and what you want to achieve, basically. So I won't say one is more important than the other, and I won't say one is less important. It depends on your goal. So, like I think Bade addressed this, for each of these platforms, they have their own modus operandi. They have so LinkedIn, for instance, is basically professional, right? So in that light, I won't say LinkedIn, Twitter is more important than LinkedIn. That is me talking down on LinkedIn, whereas LinkedIn has its own particular use. So it depends on what you want to do. It depends on what you want to achieve. So if you really want to focus on your career, or you want to focus on job search or positioning for jobs, some job hunts, then of course LinkedIn is your number one, is your go-to platform. Then if you want to do like on a soft social connection level, then Twitter it is, of course. You want to connect with relevant with people of relevant minds, people of that are in the same career field as you are, right? And they are on a social level, right? Twitter it is for you. And you also want to catch up with news, trending news, breaking news, right? Twitter it is, right? If World War III if the next World War is happening today, it's Twitter you will know from. You won't go to LinkedIn. You won't see it on LinkedIn first. And if you want to catch up with your celebrity influencers, what they are doing, of course, is Instagram. Keep up with fashion trends. Then if you want to see all those crazy dance, of course, it's TikTok. So that's why I won't say one is more important than the other. They have their own.
All right, that makes sense. Thank you.
And just to mention that even on TikTok, I've seen a couple of tech influencers in TikTok, and I've seen a bunch of people that are sharing tech stuff, even on TikTok. So it's an interesting field, but that you may want to look into.
All right. Thank you, Sars, for that question, for the answer. That's it. Really helpful. Another question I have for the speaker is this: what are some more advanced ways in which you can increase a brand presence on social media? Like, I have my brand, I want to increase my presence on social media. What are advanced ways I can use to increase my presence to be more visible to other people?
Okay, let me quickly take that. So to increase your brand presence, so I'll highlight 2 points. The first thing for me is collaboration, right? So look out for brands that complement your brand or brands that do similar things as you do. Let me use this popular example. Agege bread and Ewagoin. There is no way you say Ewagoin, you won't say Agege bread. They are not competitors, they are complementing each other, right? So if you are a fashion designer, right, look out for a model, right? That somebody that does face model or body model. Let's collaborate, right? Sometimes you don't even need money. You can say, okay, I'll give you this piece, this fashion piece, right, as for free. Just wear it and post it on your platform, tag me. That's one way to do collaboration, right? Or if you are a UI UX designer, right, and you want exposure on your platform, right? You can look out for maybe a YouTuber, a tech YouTuber, right? Say, oh, please, this is what I do, right? Let's have a conversation, a 25 minutes conversation about this topic in UI UX, right? I know you have the platform, I have the knowledge. Let's collaborate. Let's do this for the community. Then the other one would be advertising. So advertising on social media nowadays is as simple and as cheap as $1. Instagram, for instance, you can advertise for as less as $1, right? And it will tell you in that particular moment the number of people you can reach. So take, for instance, you posted a video about your craft and you feel this video is not getting enough traction, right? Just go to Instagram adverts, right? $1 or $2 per day. Run it and look at the results. Compare your results against what you will do, what you will get organically, right? You don't have to do it every day for every post. Just do it once in a while just to promote your brand and put your brand out there.
Right. Thank you for that answer. I don't know if Mr. Bade has anything to add to it.
Yeah, and for those that can afford it, you can also hire a brand strategist. So I know many things that I should be doing personally for my personal brand on social media, but I don't have the time to do them. I don't have the time to do them consistently as well. And so I'm basically hiring a brand strategist to do it for me.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you for this reply. Mohammed, I think you have a question.
Yeah,
question.
All right.
Everyone.
All right. So my question is just related to the answer that Mr. Adewale gave just now as to collaborating with people in this space. So for example, my question basically is that, for example, say in data science, for example, and sometimes there's this need for you to collaborate with people with vast knowledge as to how some data science concepts have been implemented, people like professors or assistant professors or doctors in the field, for example. So how are there strategies on code mailing them or code messaging these kind of professors? And the second question is basically for some kind of space, maybe data science space that might not be quite robust at the moment in this region that we stay, and you are willing to probably intern for some other company or to volunteer, for example, how do we put out those kind of messages to them that, oh, you are seeking to volunteer, work as an intern in data science or in this particular company and stuff?
Let me start from the last question. So in trying to get volunteer or internship opportunity, I always tell people don't be desperate about it, and don't appear as selling yourself cheap, right? I know, there is a aim, you want to get something, but also be in as much as you're being intentional, be strategic about it, right? Look out for other ways you can. So for some of these companies, go to their career pages. Some of them have this advertised opportunity of internship, right? Go there and apply, right? But if it is not there, right, you want to reach out to them from your own willingness that I'm seeking internship, then look at it in a way of problem solving. Look at their page or look at the solution they have, then try and present like a solution to their problem. Because at the end of the day, they want to say, if I'm putting myself in the shoes of the company, why should I give you this internship opportunity? Why? What is differentiating you from others? So be a problem solver, right? Add some sort of value to them. I remember a case of a friend who, when he got his first career breakthrough with one of these lending platforms in Nigeria, he's a growth marketer. And what he did was, on Twitter, he didn't just reach out to them like a cold email. He presented a problem he had seen, then addressed. He gave a way of how they can address that problem. He sent it to the CEO's DM on Twitter. And something like that, that's value added. I don't see anyone that will say no to that, right? Compared to somebody that just come in, please, this and that, can I enter your company? They won't even reply you. Always approach it from a problem point of view, then addressing that problem. Then move to your second question about code mailing, like can you code mail some of those professors? I will say, let me go back to one of the points I made in my presentation. look at it from the point of view of adding value. This professor you're talking about, have you ever engaged his content on LinkedIn? Have you ever shared his post? Have you ever commented on his post? Right? Do some of those soft connections first before doing any sort of code email. Right? There's something similar which I did to this recently. So I was taking an online course on product management from a guy in America, and I love the course. And I just reached out to him on LinkedIn. Hi, Derek, I love this, your course, blah, blah, blah. I'm currently on this. I've learned this so far. I've learned to do this differently from what I've been, blah, blah, blah. And I hit the send. That was the first surprise. I didn't say, oh, please, come and do this for me. I just a comment. After 5 minutes, he replied, that was very unusual because it was a comment. Oh, thank you, Adon. Thank you for loving the course. And I did hear that. I said, okay, I'll try to recommend this course. I'll recommend this course to as many people as possible that I know need this course. Say, fine, that's awesome. I ended it there. Then I gave him like 1 week or 2 weeks after. Then I went back. Hi, Derek, blah, 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 blah. This is my YouTube channel. This is what I do. I wouldn't mind bringing you on this channel, right, to talk about what you've done as a product marketer for different companies globally, and also to be an opportunity for you to sell this course to my audience. Look at that message. It didn't come from a place of I need something. It was also from a place of I want to add value to you, right? In as much as I want you to collaborate with me, I'm also giving you an opportunity to come and sell your course to my audience. So think about value adding. It should be a two-way thing. It shouldn't be like a one-way thing, basically.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, the next question I have is how would you handle a negative customer review or comments on social media? Because we get that a lot, and most people don't know how to actually, some people don't know how to handle bad reviews or when they get negative comments. So how would you suggest handling bad review or comment on social media?
Okay, so as a brand, sorry, I'm looking for a relevant post I made on this thing. It's on ethical to delete. Sorry, I'm just searching Google negative comments. Just 1 minute.
All right.
Yes, I found it. That's the person that even came out. I'll share it here. I think this article was about 2017 or 2018. You guys can read that. So basically, what I said in that article is, as a brand, especially when you're just starting off, it's very unethical to ignore or delete negative comments, right? In brand building, you want to position as a brand that is confident enough and also giving priority to your customers. See, especially as a tech company, technology is like a car. You wake up this morning, the car that you started last night or just 5 minutes ago, it might not start. And you'll be like, what is this problem, right? So it happens. Technology can mess you up at any point. It's just the solution to it is the way you address that problem, right? Oh, we are sorry about this. Be empathetic about it. We are sorry this has happened, blah, blah, blah. However, this is how we are going to address this for you. And we promise this won't happen again, blah, blah, blah. Take it off so that when somebody is coming next time to your page and they are seeing that negative comment, yes, let them see it. Let them also see how you addressed it. That, okay, so they were empathetic, they addressed it, they promised this won't happen again. They took those 3 approaches. And then that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't subscribe to ignoring or deleting negative comments.
Thank you, sir. If Mr. Badi has anything to add to. All right.
Wale is an expert in that field, so nothing to add.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Another question from my end, because I did prepare questions while calling. So yeah. So what are different ways to measure social media success? Like after putting out your content, how can we measure that okay, it's successful? And also the best metrics to measure how to understand the return of investment on the campaign.
Okay, so for every campaign, right, it's always good to start with an objective, right? And the objective will then set the tone for your KPIs. So for this campaign, I would say, take for instance, the objective of launching this campaign is 1, customer acquisition. I want to get more app downloads. And in another case, I can say the objective of this campaign is just to drive brand awareness. I want more people to know about this brand, right? So in the first instance of app download, of course, the number one of your KPI, how to measure success for that will be what? The number of downloads or the number of customers acquired, exactly. Because you've set your objective at the beginning. So it is those objectives that will drive the KPI. On the other hand, if your objective is brand awareness, then you then be looking at KPIs like impression, how many number of people click this post, how many number of people view this video, how many number of people share this post, right?
Yeah.
And all of that. So in answering that, basically, your objective will drive your KPI, and KPI in different cases differ. So if for brand awareness, you talk about impression, talk about clicks, talk about views. But for conversion or app downloads, in that instance, of course, it will be number of downloads, number of customers, number of acquisitions, number of demo request form field, and all of that.
Thank you for that.
Your objective can also be simply putting yourself out there so that when people are searching for you, they find you. And when they find you, they find the stuff you're doing. So in some cases, people are looking for a PHP developer, then they should find you as a PHP developer, right? That can be simply your objective. PHP developer in Yaba, for example, and then that can be an objective to say, okay, fine, I want to show up on a list of 100 PHP developers, they will find me, that kind of thing. That can simply also be the objective in that case.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for the replies. Once again, if we are talking about social media as a tool in your tech career. So we have our speaker, Mr. Adewale Adetono and Mr. Badi Adesemo, that have spoken to us a lot about this topic, social media tools, and how we can use them, and how it can make and mar us. And I'm sure a lot of us has gained a lot from them, as I have done. So if you still have questions, there's still time a little bit minute to take questions from everyone. So if there are questions, you can still ask your question before we go to advertising Bincom project. So please, if you have a question, you can ask. So yeah, thank you to the speakers. Yeah, and one more question, Mr. Dewa. I don't know if you can just maybe shed a little bit of more light on search engine optimizations, as SEO, like when you are putting yourself out there to make yourself more visible. Because yeah, I have like problem with the SEO. Whenever it comes to SEO, I really don't have that full understanding of what it really means. Do I understand search engine optimization? I don't really understand the full in of it.
Okay, so basically, there are two approaches to SEO. There's the organic approach and there's a paid approach. So let me start with the basic knowledge, the basic background of it. Now, so what is SEO? SEO basically is search engine optimization, positioning your brand such that when people search relevant keywords that are relevant to your brand, to what you do, your page or your business comes up at least on the first page of Google. That's SEO. So take for instance, as I'm selling clothes, or no, I'm a fashion designer, right? And I go on Google, or someone goes on Google and they now search fashion designers in Lagos. And as a fashion designer, I'm expected, right, to come up on the first page. Someone like Yomi Casual will definitely come up on the first page of that search on Google. And how would they have achieved that? The first one will be organic, and the second one will be paid. Organic will be third-party content, thought leadership pieces, events, or PR. And how can they have achieved? How would the person have achieved that? So, like the interview, this piece I just shared is like an interview, a thought leadership piece, right? Which was an interview basically and published online. So when people search some keyword that are relevant to this piece, like deleting negative comment on social media, blah, blah, just like I searched now, that was the first thing that came out, right? The other one could be events. Okay, I go to an event, right? The people that organize the event will definitely report about this event or report about what I said at that event, right? That is third-party platform, and you've gotten something off events and it's online. Then the second aspect of it will be the paid search, which is you basically paying Google, that's pay-per-click, to put your keywords, to put your brand on relevant keywords on the first page. That's why when you search on Google, the first search you see something like AD by the side, that's ad. that is PPC, that's the paid ad, that's the brand ad paid for that keyword to be listed on that search. Then when you then move further, you then see some that, other results that are not, you can't see outside them. Those are organic, right? They've earned those results using third-party platforms, thought leadership, and all of those things I mentioned earlier.
Thank you for that. One more thing, I don't know. Can you say which one do you feel like to you personally, like your own opinion on the two between ads and organic and inorganic? Which one do you feel like is better? Which one will get you there faster?
Well, so I feel so. It's for different stages of a brand. You have to do the two at two different stages as a brand. So if you're just starting up as a brand, I would say you need a whole lot of organic searches. You need earned media. They call it earned media, right? You need people to talk about you a lot. You need people to write pieces about you as a company, and those are earned media, and it could be achieved with strategic PR or collaboration or whatever with different people, right? And on the other hand, if you've then moved on from maybe from a point A to point B as a brand, you've been able to scale, then you can then say, okay, so we've made some sort of this difference, and we've scaled from this to this. We even have some sort of more budgets that we can use to focus on advertising. Then you can then go for PPC. You can go for, that's the paid ad. But starting off, I would say try as much as possible to leverage earned media, like organic. Get a whole lot of organic media presence out there.
Thank you, sir. I don't know if Mr. Badi has anything to add to that. All right. Since there is no question from anyone, I'll go ahead and share my screen now. I have a piece from the company about some services that we render to share with everyone. So I'm to share my screen. So please, can everyone see my screen? All right. All right. So Bincom Dev Center is a multi-location technology talent development and solution platform. And Bincom Dev Center, we offer different services, which includes Bincom Academy, which utilizes a Montessori approach in training participants in basic skills needed for modern technology ecosystem. The Bincom Tech Internship, designed to enable people at intermediate level gain mastery and expertise over a period of time. Bincom Tech Apprenticeship, industrial attachments at various skill levels to gain experience and on-the-job training. Bincom community events and projects geared at giving back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. They focus on informing the exposing the youth to current technology trend and how to prepare for this future of technology. And we have light spaces which provide helpful workspace intended to encourage collaboration and drive innovation in the startup ecosystem. We have spaces that is created and designed for various events like seminars, conference, and get-together. And our locations, we are virtually near you: Yaba, Lagos State, Ibadan, Oyo State, Kano State, Kaduna State, Ijebu, Ogun State, Warri Delta, and we are planning to expand to as many places as possible. You can visit http://blog.bincom.net/campuses to access our live spaces. So Bincom Dev Center, we have continuation. We have a Bincom Global Tech Program. This Global Tech Program is the continuation, just to talk a little bit more about the video we have watched at the beginning during a break between the two speakers. Is a Global Tech Program. The solution is your solution to launch your tech career globally, and it's the 1 to 2 year program focused on 3 key pillars: learn skill, gain experience, and gain exposure. And the program fee is 1.2 million in Naira and 4,000 pounds in the UK, because we are no more only focused in Nigeria, we have expanded more than Nigeria. So the emigrates helps you become globally attractive, tech profile, tech-enabled business, and is your tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement in the countries like UK, USA, Canada, and France. Bincom Mentoring Platform is a structured mentoring solution to help mentor add value to mentees for the purpose of building globally attractive techies. And launched by Bincom is a 3 to 6 months pre-incubation program that brings together participants to build a digital technology product that would be useful. Then now let's drill down into some of the Bincom Dev Center services. Bincom Academy, an intensive program facilitated by Bincom Dev Center. Each technology or application development class is typically 4 weeks of intensive training. During this period, we shall take the participants through our training curriculum for the knowledge track in a Montessori approach. This is a banner that just consists of some of the classes available at our academy. We have Python, mobile app, the PHP class, foundation class, graphics design class, project management class, IT system engineer, digital marketing, basic computer literacy, web design using WordPress, advanced front-end development. And the price for this class is $50,000 or £175. And to apply, you can visit www.bincom.net/academy. And to see our full course, visit our same link. So, and if you're interested in these classes or have someone that you want to invite for the class, just send the link to them, www.bincom.net/academy, to apply to the course. Light Spaces provides helpful workspace intended to encourage collaboration and drive innovations in the startup ecosystem. We have spaces that is created and designed for various events like seminar, conference, and get together. So this is a picture of some of light space that we have. Some light space include event space of 30 to 40 people, meeting rooms, guest room for overnight stay, co-working space, dedicated office space, and desk. And our location, we are virtually near you because we work remotely, so we can work from home, so we are that flexible. We have light spaces basically, and we are planning to move, expand our reach around the whole Nigeria for now, more places. And we have the presence one we have right now: Yaba, Lagos, Ibadan, Oyo State, Kano State, Kaduna States, Ijebu, Ogun State, Warri, Delta. Sorry about that. So Bincom community events and projects, JED has given back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. They focus on informing and exposing the youth to the current technology trend and how to prepare for the future of technology. Bincom community events is divided into 5. We have the master class, digital financing master class, startup school, and technology enhanced learning series. And then we have the meetups, WordPress meetup, PHP meetup, data science meetup, Python meetup, AWS meetup, Angular meetup, Laravel meetup. And well, we have the idea sharing, Bincom ICT Career Talk and Career Drill Down. This ICT Career Talk that we just finished today is one of the idea sharing, and that's why there is a conversation type that is they give to us, then after we ask questions on what we don't know. And we have Explore on the Move, which is our tech talk, and we have Challenge and Bridge Talk, which is our hackathon. Some of other initiatives includes Bincom Tech Network. Academy uses Bincom Tech Slack for collaboration purposes. Interaction with facilitator and other participants of Bincom Academy class will happen on the normal channel in Bincom Tech Network. Bincom Tech Network is a developer and tech resource community powered by Bincom. We believe this will grow into one of Africa's largest community of tech enthusiasts and experts. It creates an ecosystem that enables tech enthusiasts who has little or no knowledge on tech to learn and rub minds with tech experts, leveraging on the tech community to front-end the possibility of an individual club member to become tech experts themselves. Now, our meetups: PHP meetup, cloud hosting, formerly AWS, Angular meetup, digital marketing meetup, data science meetup, Laravel/E meetup, DevOps meetup, a master class, Bincom Startup School, social lender, digital financial master class, and the EdTech series, and idea sharing, Bincom ICT Career Talk, Emigrate Open Day. And all these days, most of our meetups happen on Fridays. If you are interested in joining, this same link. So, but it happens on Fridays, and our idea sharing happens on Saturdays. Same as our master class also on Saturdays. But meetups happen on Fridays, 12 to 2 and 3 to 5. Now, Bincom Global Tech Program is a solution to launch your tech career, where you learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure. And learn tech now and pay later is one of the means to pay for it, which is which covers 1 to 2 years, which a cost of 1.2 million naira fee can be paid later instrumentally through the income sharing agreements. So this is a flyer where just to show you what the global tech is about. So we build on 3 major pillars, as Mr. Badi has stated during one of the speech. So we learn skill, gain experience, and gain exposure. So throughout the 1 to 2 years, and make you globally attractive. Now, emigrates, pronounced as emigrates, provide tech-enabled visa opportunity, either the technical side or business side of tech. It gives opportunity to live, work in the UK, US, Canada, and France. What can emigrate service cover? General inquiry, coaching and hands-on, and outholding, preliminary assessment of your qualification status for self-directed roadmaps to qualify for a tech-enabled visa. Roadmap to a globally attractive tech profile. An example, global tech visa, review your UK global talent application, endorsement review process. And to talk to us, it's free, www.bincom.net/emigrate-open-day with 8, not emigrate, EMIGR and 8 open day. So yeah. Emigrate Tech Enabled Visa Pathway, Emigrate Services. We have the free services and we have the premium service. And the free service contains the information and inspiration, Emigrate Community, monthly open day, introductory video, Emigrate Consultation, Tech Nation Visa Ambassador Office Hour, short inquiry. And premium service include Emigrate Service, SACU, personalized consultation section, standard package review and introductions, Emigrate Premium Service, custom service. And interested, step 1, if you are interested, the first step is indicate interest at bincom.net/emigrate, and step 2 is to request for in-hand for emigrate service at blog.bincom.net/emigrate pricing. And we are inviting you to our next open day, which happens second Wednesday of the month. And every second Wednesday of the month, we have an emigrate open day. So we are inviting everyone to the next edition. And join our next cohorts in the labs by Bincom, where we help you build a startup from scratch. To know more, you can visit www.bincom.net/labs. And now, why you learn tech. So N120K, why you learn tech. So join the Bincom Dev Center Ambassador campaign. And so the Bincom Dev Center Ambassador campaign is partnership with MyCycle, bringing the ability for people to earn from their network and positive social influence. You earn 10% from Bincom Dev Center for any of the services you refer. So we have different services. We have the Bincom Academy and the Bincom Global Tech. The Global Tech, if the person pay the full price, you get 10%. And if Bincom Academy, they pay 10%, the full price, you get 10%. So any amount the person pay, you get 10% of that from the person. So to know more about it, you can visit this link, MyCycle Bincom Dev Center referral, to know more about it. If you have any question or you want to contact us, you can visit our website at www.bincomdevcenter.com or call us at 0701-195-4852 or contact us at bincomdevcenter@bincom.net. So thank you for attending today, and yeah, thank you.
Can I give you a quick final word?
Yes, sir, you can.
I would just say to everyone on the call to say, you need to be consistent and you need to be strategic. We mentioned that a couple of times during my session, and also Adewale mentioned it as well. Consistency is important, even if it's once a month that you can put something out there. So today in the world of social media, you don't have a choice. So the world has moved to a point where you are expected to actually put something out there. And so if you don't have anything out there, the world actually assumes things about you. So you don't even have a choice, but then consistently put out something, be strategic around what career are you building, and then start putting things out there around that career that you're building. And that is around you pushing things out there. And at the same time, get information, be strategic about who you follow, the kinds of information that will be floating around you, because those kinds of things, they are called social media bubble. You can Google it. That can also make or mar your career. Wishing everyone the very best. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And thank you to everyone that joined and to everyone that asked questions, participated. Thank you all for your time, and we hope we'll be able to add to you. So don't let us forget, connect with people, post your work online. Nothing is too much on the internet, and set your timetable for yourself. Thank you. We've come to today's end.
Thank you, sir.
Program. I will see you at the next events. Thank you all for joining.